Hey, welcome in.
Hey, what's up?
So we would just like to ask you a few questions about some anime Roblox games, and you can just kind of tell us your opinion on them, if you played them, if you liked them, that sort of thing.
Sure, go ahead.
Skillful.
Is that the question? All right, I like Skillful. It's fun. You just gotta get people who actually know how to play the game and aren't trying to like be a character in Blue Lock, but otherwise it's really fun, very satisfying.
YBA?
YBA. Wow, yeah, that's a that's a throwback. Yeah, I loved playing this game, but now that I have a job and I'm doing this on the side, it's just I really don't have time for it anymore. It's really time consuming, but I had a lot of fun with like the stand farming and trading up. It's just those 13-year-olds can be very stubborn and only also want to trade up, so you kind of just get stuck. But yeah, it's still pretty fun. Oh, I did boot it up recently. I didn't really do much. It just was kind of calling out to me. It was kind of weird. I just opened it up and ran it around though, and it was fun. I hope it gets a big update.
And I can't be asked. I'm learning Python. I apparently have an addiction. Okay.
Welcome everybody to the first ever OK Marty video.
Automated amiibo tournaments. Sure, why not?
I apparently have an addiction. Okay. And I can't be asked. I'm learning
I really
Python.
don't have time for it anymore. It's really time consuming, but automated amiibo tournaments. Oh my gosh.
Let me tell you a story about Cole Palmer, Robert Lewandowski, Jesus Christ, and one hell of an addiction.
It all started in the middle of my Terraria video, and I had the bright idea to automate YBA skin farming. But to do that, you need a few things. At least 9 skill points, arrows, and rokas, and a strong will as well, because it's only a 1% chance to get an actual skin, and after that, it's a 2% chance to get a legendary one. You know, the cool-looking ones. It's only a 33% chance that those arrows spawn, and those are rolled every 5 minutes, and you have to go around the map constantly to look for it. And if you don't get a skin you want, or a stand you want, you have to roka it. That's how you get rid of it. And to get those is a 20% chance every 5 minutes, constantly around the map. And to add even more on top of that, you can only hold a max of 25 for each of these items, meaning you can't just collect like 500 and then just do one big swoop of using arrows over and over and over until you get a good skin. No, after 25, you have to go back and look around for them again. And while 25 does sound like a lot, it actually starts to add up a lot over time, you having to go look for items. And it's also just so tedious that I'd rather just go get a whole bunch of items, sell them, and then use 50k on a lucky arrow and try my luck at trading. But what if I did both and neither at the same time? Now stay with me. I can make a bot that automatically does the skin farming, keeping the rare skins if needed, and also does the process of gathering the items and have it all be controlled from my phone. This is, or was, the current PKers tier list, subject to change because they are updated very often, and for the low tiers, they're on a separate tier list. This one's just the high tiers. I'm not sure what the little numbers mean by them, but they're there, I guess. But our goal is to get one of the high tier skins from here using the bot and profit, though I'm not really sure how we profit here. I guess I just go to the trading hub and deny every trade, because that's happened to me so many times, especially when I was younger, and I need petty revenge. process should be simple. I already made a tiny script that sits at one of the designated item locations and attempts to pick up items over and over since the actual spawn location doesn't move. And my thought process was simple. If all the other item locations fill up with items, it should only spawn at this one, and we can just take advantage of that. Yes, it's really time consuming, but if I'm not doing it, does it really matter? With this loop made, we just have to do 5 things. 1, make a skin farmer that basically uses an arrow, checks to see if it's epic or legendary, and if not, it rokas it and starts the loop again. 2, we need to make it so we can move the player from a spawn location to an item spawn location. Since I won't be at my PC, this is the most consistent way we can get a character to a certain place to pick up items. Which leads me to my 3rd point. We need to make it so we can actually reset the character until we get to the right spawn location. And for the 4th thing, we need to actually start the item grab and be able to stop it from my phone. And for the 5th thing, we tie it all up nicely in a little bow by making it a Discord bot. First of all, my avatar will be Robert Lewandowski. Not only because he's the GOAT, but whenever I score in Skillful, this happens.
Oh, well, I'll give it to you, Marty. Go.
Let's go!
That was the perfect setup! That's already done!
We got the There he is! Hey guys, Overdub Marty here. Pardon the random cuts in the time lapse. I have ADHD and I like to tab out a lot for no reason, sometimes into Discord and open up my personal DMs, and it's not really anything other than Gamer John sending me a Yakuza tweet or not talking to me about Amiibo, but you know, it's personal conversations between me and them, so I'm just gonna keep that business to myself. The first thing that we'll do is find all of the coordinates for the buttons that we need to press for the stand farming, and to make sure that it's consistent, we'll move the mouse to 0, 0 every time since the coordinates are relative to the mouse's position, or something like that. Listen, it wasn't consistent until I started doing it this way, so please be gentle in the comments, I'm still new to this. And after we do that, we need to find color codes, because thankfully there's stand data, and each rarity of a skin has a unique color that's displayed in that menu. So we'll just get the color codes for epic and legendary, although I also got the ones for common and uncommon too. Shout out to Riley for getting this skin that was uncommon. I didn't have any uncommon skins, so it was kind of nice to just have that. And we have it scanned for the actual rarity based on those color codes, and if it's not epic or legendary, it gets rid of the skin and starts the loop again. However, if it is, it will stop the script entirely, and also because it's on a bot, it will notify me when it gets a stand that's good, which is very nice to know, so I won't always be kept in suspense. Also, the last thing I would want to do is have something good actually come from this and then have it accidentally get rid of that stand. I'm already wasting enough time making this, I don't want to waste any more. Once we do that, we'll just make sure that it clicks in all of the right areas, and it should tie this whole thing together. Except that's where I found my first issue. See, the mouse kept appearing in the right spots, but it wasn't actually clicking in the right spots at all, which really bugged me because when I would move my mouse around and click something, it would work, and when I used an auto clicker, which is another external program just like what I'm using, it also would count those clicks. So then I thought the issue was the library in Python wasn't working. If you don't know how libraries work, they're basically add-ons for Python. So let's say you're trying to do something like Cold Bullet did with his Beyblade video, you would need the Patreon API to know what tier each person is. Or if you wanted to do something like Doug does with his AIs, you would need the OpenAI API. And to get those APIs, you download the library. I was using PyInput to actually type and click with the mouse, and PyDirect input to move the mouse around. And while I know that you only need one library to do all of that, that's just how I knew to do these different functions with the library, and it was complicated, but it worked for me. However, I swallowed my pride and ended up moving all of the coordinate moving stuff to PyDirect input. So now everything is managed under PyDirect input, but even that still didn't work. It made sense to me at first. It's like, well, we'll just have one library use it, so surely there won't be any issues here. But no, I couldn't even click on the GUI. I got so close, but so far. So then I had another idea. If the auto clicker works, why don't we just use that? See, the way that the auto clicker works is that it has a hotkey that you press to start it, and it also has a function where you can stop it after repeating a certain amount of times. So if we set it to stop after repeating once, we can also make a function in Python that triggers the auto clicker by setting it to that hotkey, so we can simulate a click. And since it already works, it should work in this way.
Starting farming.
Now I'm just really confused. It worked perfectly fine with the auto clicker before, but now it's not working. Did YBA have some sort of anti-cheat? Like, has this already been done before? But I'm not injecting into Roblox itself, so I'm not really cheating. And also, like, will the video just end here and just be wasted? Will Chelsea ever make it to the Champions League? And like, what do Chippy Chips really taste like? But I'm not gonna give up here. I mean, I haven't even gotten to the menu yet. command. Then I discovered something. When I would move the mouse myself and have it click, it would actually click in the right spots. So it wasn't actually the external clicking that was the issue, it was the location of it. You remember those 0, 0 cards? Yeah. It was clicking there the whole time. Let me quickly explain two functions of PyDirect input. There's PyDirect input.move2, which moves the mouse directly to a set of coordinates. And then there's PyDirect input.move, which simulates the mouse being dragged to whatever coordinates you put in the parentheses. Basically, one is teleporting while the other one is walking. And you see, I was using the former, and it clearly wasn't working. On one hand, I could just use the other function and replace PyDirect input.move2 to PyDirect input.move, or I can make a combination of both by using PyDirect input.move2 to teleport the mouse to where it should go just slightly lower, and then having the move one jiggle it up just a little bit, putting it in the right position, and also detecting where it is on screen, allowing it to click in the right spot. And ladies and gentlemen, it worked perfectly. Finally, after like an hour, we were able to access the menu using the script, which is crazy that it took that long. But now that we're done, we're able to actually have a consistent loop.
It begins.
We didn't get any shiny sadly, but it is good that we have a working and functioning loop. I added some minor tweaks too, just to make sure things were smoother and worked nicer, but nothing too crazy. As for the other functions, if this thing was already set up to be in a Discord bot, it would be a lot easier to implement them, so let's just get to work. If you're wondering why I named the bot Cole Palmer, it's simply to stick to the theme that we already have going with Robert Lee Wendowski. I'm already spending like way too much time making this video, so I think I'm allowed to have both of my goats in the same video. And now at this bot, we just also have to implement the arrow function into an actual command, since we made that before it was a Discord bot. Which we could just turn it into a command, or we could make a separate function that starts the original function that's a command. I'm a genius. Also, since now it's a bot, we'll have it notify us through Discord whenever it runs out of like arrows or it gets a certain stand, so that way I can know when to change the behavior of the bot through my phone. Following the plan, we just need to do three things. Add a reset command, add the item grabber, and add a macro that makes us go to one of the item spawn locations. And all of those were actually super easy and not that hard to do. It was just a lot of stopwatch and finding key inputs for the macro, and then finding a way to make sure we can stop the item grab once it starts, and we did that by turning it to an async function. YBay also has the same camera angle every time when you join the game, and it also has the same camera angle after you close the skill tree, which is top down, so I was able to find some consistency there. I also already knew how to do some Discord bot stuff because I made the Bernice bot, you know, the one that I used to nuke my entire Discord server because I thought I was going to make a new one. Yeah. That one. Also, I made Cole Palmer talk like he's playing the game with the bot, and I found that really funny. And also, I took this screenshot. Other than that, we have really nothing left to do but farm. And I'm really surprised how fast this went by, but without further ado, let's get to work.
Hey guys, this is awkward. So the song ended. Originally I was supposed to have Advidal's theme. I didn't even, who cares? I didn't even say it right, but who cares? I was supposed to have his theme in here, you know, it goes hard, it's, you know, it's good, it's fun, but, yeah, I was really worried about this video getting copyright, a lot of the music being copyright, and since the other stuff actually has my own stuff to it, this is just the song in the background, and, yeah, I don't own the rights to that song, so, I had to replace it, and I'm really glad that I ran this through before I finished it to see if it was copyright. I guess I'll just tell you some fun facts while we're here. It's currently March 5th. I might finish this video today or tomorrow, and the project started in like
Did you see it? Did you see what happened?
Of course you saw it. It took more than half of the time lapse. And not only did I wake up to see it still item grabbing and Brave using 100% of my CPU, which I really wish I could have screenshot, but I just realized that this was taking way too long and I had no idea how else I was gonna do it. So I figured I would just do it manually. And as much as I wanted to take my time with this video, I don't want it to take that long. So maybe it ruins the automation part of it, but well, I guess it's just what I have to do. So whatever.
But Marty, didn't you say there were set locations?
What? Robert Lewandowski?
Hello, Marty. Instead of staying at one item location, why not run to all of them and check if items are there? Just like what the script already does, but on a stronger level.
Wait. He's actually kind of right. I was thinking about it way too hard. In my head, I would have to use some sort of AI to train it to look for the actual items and pick up the specific ones, but it doesn't matter if an item spawned there or not. I mean, we're literally just sitting at one item point and picking up items anyway, so who cares? Instead of trying to find out where items have already spawned, we'll just run to each item spot and try to pick up the item regardless of whether it's there or not. And it will be way more efficient than what we're doing because anything else is probably better than this, which means it could still be automated. I'm about to lose so many hours of my life, aren't I? Basically, what we need to do here is create a long macro, essentially. And to do that, it will go through a whole bunch of item spawn locations, and it will attempt to pick up an item at each one. And to do that, we'll need a map of YBA with all the item spawn locations, a loop that goes through each one and starts at a player spawn location, the keys to press it, and the timings to code in. And if it loops nicely, not even God will be able to stop us. Alright, overdone Marty here, back with another one. I'll have you know that actually finding a map with the right spawn locations for the overworld was really hard. You can go online and find a map of the sewers with the spawn location, but you can't find a map of the overworld with the spawn locations, except if you go to this one YouTuber who had a video with the spawn locations put up. I'll go ahead and put his name up right here since the scriptwriter, me who's writing this, who's making me say this right now, doesn't actually remember his name in the moment. But now that we actually have a map with the item locations, we'll just need to actually find a route that works for us and starts from one of the player spawn locations because, again, it's consistent and the only way I'll be able to actually reach it from my phone. Hey everybody, it's Marty here with a route breakdown. So we're going to start here at the first spawn point. We're going to move down onto the bushes. We're just going to bump into that where we grab our first item. And then we're going to move up and we're going to go on these stairs where we grab our second item. Moving forward even further to our first telephone box of many. Grabbing our third item, we're going to walk down to a corner and then go straight down where we'll grab our fourth item. Our fifth item is going to be a little bit to the right at some bushes where we'll go left and then back down again where we get our sixth item. And our seventh one is right to the left of that. I know, really confusing with my choice of words there, but it's by another telephone box. I told you there'd be many. We're gonna move down to this white house. It's not the White House you're thinking of, but it is a white house. And we're gonna grab our eighth item. Our ninth one is gonna be down this little straightaway that we go to that's from the left of the White House. And then we're gonna go down to this little parking garage spot, little like ticket booth, I guess, entry point of some kind. Well, we're gonna grab our 11th item, or 12th. I think I'm losing count, but we're just gonna say it's the 12th. Even if I did lose count, it's okay, it's whatever. Now,
Listen, the route isn't all that interesting. Trust me.
After we found the route, we just need to find what keys to press to go across the loop. And this part was actually quite easy. What was hard was remembering the route itself because it took so long. Next, we just need to find the timing for the keys and make sure to our best ability that he lines up to where he originally started so it loops. We'll do that by having him move down and then back up to the right location. And boom! It should work, except it didn't. Now, the reason that I didn't find the route that interesting is because I had to spend over 20 hours just watching Robert walk this route over and over and over. And that's why I was able to do that shot without a script and just completely off the dome, because I spent so much time watching him do the route, I just had it memorized. That's right, the looping. I could not get this to work, no matter how hard I tried. And it was so annoying too, because if I changed one little thing at the end, I'd have to watch Robert walk around the map like for 20 minutes before I could see if it even worked. And if I had to go back and change it again, it was just the same process and it got so mentally draining. And on top of that, I could never get it consistent no matter how hard I tried and no matter how hard I changed anything, nothing would seem to work. Even if I changed nothing, the position that he would be at the end of the lap would always be different. And I'm not sure if it's because I'm running it through a Discord bot or because of Roblox lag or a mixture of both, but it started to get very, very frustrating. Let me give you a metaphor, but before I do that, we'll need to record this one in my room. I'm going to draw a square, but with a twist. You see, square starts off all normal, but as I continue to draw it, see I'm going up, and then, oh, I missed it. And now, as you see, I'm going to continue to draw it, and it's going to be more and more offset and off in the wrong position every single time as I continue to draw a square. And this meant that it couldn't loop properly, and that was my dogs and that meant it couldn't loop properly, which really bugged me because I was constantly stressed out trying to check the bot over and over to see if it was looping correctly or not, which kind of defeats the purpose if I always have to keep watching it. So I had one last idea. Since the lap starts at one of the player spawn locations, we can just have another friend join us, and if they stay completely still, we could see where Robert aligns with them and get an idea of how much we need to adjust and move him to make sure he ends up in the right position. So I did exactly that. I managed to get Mitchell and Riley to both hop on, and we actually got it really close to looping perfectly. We were able to have it lap around a whole 12 times before I ended up just stopping it. What was really interesting to me though is that he still wasn't ending up in the exact same spot. He was constantly moving around, but he never was going too far off the beaten path. See, let's try with the squares again. Remember what I said before? But this time, we're gonna keep drawing it, and oh, I went a little bit too high, and now I'm missing it, and now I'm missing it, and now I'm missing it. But oh, I bumped into something, and now all of a sudden I'm going back in the direction I need to, but then I bump back into that original thing, and it just keeps going and going and going, back and forth. Even though they're still in the wrong position, it's actually still looping. Thus, even though it's still scuffed, it works. And now I can finally go celebrate with a little bit of self-love and then sit back and relax. Listen, man, I know my pop-off was a little bit controversial, but I mean, come on.
Come to observe you along with the rest of my creation. Just an observer, nothing more. My curiosity and love for all, my children, motivates me much. And you, I adore you just like any other.
What? Are you Robert Lewandowski?
No, have you heard of Chippy Chips?
What? Are you Cole Palmer?
Remember, you must let go in order to grow.
That doesn't answer my question!
This part is actually a really easy fix. I just made it to click the goodbye dialogue option every time he's over where Jesus spawns, and boom, it works. And now with 100% Jesus protection, the only thing left to do is grind.
Time lapse.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a pop quiz. Because time lapses are boring. Question 1. What video did I create before the revamp that destroyed my algorithm? A. Man vs. Moon. B. Man vs. Fish. C. Man vs. Paper. Or D. Man vs. Sun. What do you think? I'll wait. If you pick Man vs. Sun, you'd be correct. Question 2. What was my most popular video before the revamp? I let my friends mod Risk of Rain. It was a mistake. B. Alabasta changes my opinion of One Piece completely. C. The horse incident. Or D. Man vs. Sun. If you thought the answer was Alabasta changes my opinion of One Piece completely, you'd be correct. Let's go! Let's go! What game did I play for my last video before the revamp? A. Minecraft. B. John Condemned. John Condemned. C. Team Sonic Racing. Or D. Terraria. If you picked Team Sonic Racing, you'd be correct. Let's go. Next question. My cat died. If your answer was type shit, you'd be correct. How many points did you get? Comment down below and compare yourself with other people. Oh my gosh!
I did not expect to get a legendary this quickly, but even after my celebration, I realized what the actual numbers meant on the tier list. You see, Yuji has a 1- to him, and if you don't know what the item a lucky arrow is, it's an item that works just like a stand arrow, but it guarantees you a skin whenever you use it. However, they're very, very rare, or you can purchase them from the item shop for $50,000, which is way too cheap in my personal opinion. However, this means that Yuji is worth -1 lucky arrow, or just a little bit less than 1 lucky arrow. For the most part, it's just easier to say he's worth 1 lucky arrow. But this also meant I did not reach my goal yet. You see, when I was recording this, he was at the bottom of A tier, which is technically in the higher end of tiers. But the tier list changed 3 times during the making of this video. Like multiple times this month the tier list changed. I don't even know how they get data that fast. They must be getting paid for this. There's no way they're not. Like the dedication these guys have is crazy. This isn't in the script. This is just coming from my heart. Like the amount of times this tier list has changed, it could be different right now for all we know. They could already have updated it. February is a small month. I'm at the end of the month and it's already changed 3 times. It might change a 4th time. That's just crazy to me. Anyway, back on track to the actual script. I'm gonna be taken over by the mind of the script writer. Yuji is not what I want yet. I want something that's worth more, higher, at least worth more than 3 lucky arrows, so we had to keep grinding. I even added ribcage support before I realized that the pool of bad to good skins was just not good. But one thing was still bothering: the loop. The loop would still break in weird and random locations, and I just couldn't do with the stress of having to constantly watch the bot to make sure that the loop was working, because otherwise I would have to turn it off and start it again. Because again, I'm controlling all of the behavior from my phone, and the idea of not having to check on it's eating away at me. And also, if I have to 24/7 be watching it, doesn't it kind of just defeat the purpose of the video? I wanted a proper loop, and the day was February 8th, 2025, which meant it was a ×2 item weekend, which was perfect for us. If we wanted to get a skin, it would be this weekend, so we had to lock in. I continued to change little things here or there and trying to get it to line up, and started to spend most of my time just making sure the loop was working and coding it over and over rather than just letting it run. And that's when it hit me. Since we always start in the same player spawn location, why don't we just have it so we reset over and over until we get to the right one? That way we always start in the exact same spot. Well, I've already sort of answered that question, especially since it's one I just keep asking myself. And the answer is, since we have 3 different item locations and no way to distinguish which one we're at, it would just be impossible to do this. But then I had an idea. See, since the camera angle's always the same, what if we have it take 2 screenshots, one for the day and one for the night, and we have it continue to see if it matches either of these, and if it doesn't, it resets over and over until it gets to the right spawn location. In fact, if we can make it so we can detect stuff with images, why don't we just make it so we can count how many arrows and rokas we have, so I know when to stop the bot? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Do you understand what this means? If we have a way to detect how many arrows and rokas we have, we can count to see when we reach a max of both and trigger the stand farming. And since we already have a function that tells us when we're out of items for the stand arrows, we can use that to trigger the item grabbing function. And on top of that, we can detect where the player's spawn location is, which means we can do complete automation. Goodbye to Cole Palmer. Goodbye to random lag spikes ruining my loops over and over again. Goodbye to losing hours of my life being forced to watch the loop to see if it breaks or not. Goodbye to Discord causing lag spikes as well, and anything else ruining the loop. And hello to free time and not having to worry about anything. And hello to inner peace.
And now, the funeral for Cole Palmer.
We are gathered here today to remember the tragic death and explosion of Cole Palmer. The man, the myth, and the legend. It was in that very cave when he fought Prometheus the dragon that he was stabbed 10 times in the stomach. It was tragic. His final words, Chippy Chips. And now, for the eulogy, Sydney.
What? No. You really kicked that ball, huh?
Amen.
It was crazy.
It was.
It was my favorite part, actually. If I try and think back and remember his life, my favorite part was when he kicked the ball into the goal. That was really amazing when he did that. He was really good.
Objection.
Uh-huh. Sustained.
Keep going.
Yeah, he's not got too much hair, huh? That's crazy.
And with that, it's time for the final time lapse. Let's do some math. First of all, when you roll a stand arrow, it's a 1% chance that you'll get a shiny. And then it's a 2% chance that that 1% chance is a legendary skin. And every time you roll and you don't get a skin, the chances of you getting one is increased very slightly each time. However, it's not guaranteed. However, that's not the case for the actual rarity of the skins. You see, the pity only goes up for every time you don't get a skin at all, but it doesn't change for the rarity. To add even more on top of that, it's a 7.5% chance to get sticky fingers. And that's the stand that Itadori Yuji goes over. So, to put it simply, I have to get that 7.5% chance, and then I have to get a 1% chance that it's a skin, and then I have to get another 2% chance that it's actually legendary, meaning it's a 0.0015% chance of just happening once. I got it twice. So statistically speaking, I won't get him again next legendary, and we can do the final time lapse and get anybody but him. Stop it, burns it, burns it, burns.
Two weeks have passed since the third Yuji. In fact, I even found a fourth one myself later down the road. I almost forgot for a second what outside was like, as I tried to come up with schemes and plans to achieve a higher tiered skin. I made this become my life. It was my everything. And suddenly, the YBA skins that I was mocking really became that deep. But I need to move on. And honestly, I'm happy. 4 Yujis are pretty funny for a video anyway. I even had one last plan to get a Love Train skin. I was actually going to win. But then I remembered something that Cole Palmer told me before he died. Money buys happiness. And thus, I gave the script one last shot. Just run my stand farm, you know, just another day in the office. I think now is a good time to do it. Yeah. Wait, what the heck? What's it? No. What's it doing? I don't want... Dog, I don't want that. Dog. Dude. What? Yo!
Did you see it? Completely fully automated. We got a skin worth a whopping 31 Itadori Yuji. We finally did it. From my screen time saying I had 120 hours on Roblox on this game specifically to 400. Finally got it done, but do not think this is the last of me. I will be back, and next time, I won't even spend a dime. Thank you guys so much for watching. Honestly, this video has been such a journey that I didn't expect, and you know what, man? We really...
This is private property. You need to leave now.
You don't know what I've been through. All of you know I have 4 Itadori Yujis, and I have Lightbringer.
Hey.
No!
My hair is wet, so I look goofy, but you just have to put up with it. I wanted to give some special thanks before I close this video out. I don't expect you to listen to it. It's been 37 minutes, so I'd be fine if you clicked off. Don't worry, you're not gonna miss anything important. But this video did take a month long, and I thought it would take like 2 weeks or a week. And it's the first time I have committed to something like this in content, like ever. It's been really fun and really awesome, and I'm really proud of this, so I hope you enjoyed it. But I wanted to thank, you know, my friend John. You know, he sat through so many calls of just me editing, just sitting there editing the video, and just like being very supportive and being there for me. And my friends, you know, Zuz and Conrad, for watching the video and doing a little preview, and they gave me some good advice for the video. And just Tyler also just being there and supportive, and same with my friends Anthony and Caesar, and everyone at my part-time job that picked up a shift so I could put a little bit of time into this to finish it and to make sure it was done. And to everyone that made the JoJo soundtrack, because that really brought out some life in this video for sure. And the people of YBA, I'm probably gonna get banned. I understand that, I accept that fact, but please don't. But it's, you know, without those kind of games, you know, like that I grew up on, I wouldn't have found a lot of the inspiration and gone the routes that I did in life. So just shout out to the people that make those and are dedicated to their craft. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.